It is also the wrong way to spend $2 billion. I could go into great detail on that, but to suffice it to say that for $2 billion a year, and the cost of paving a two-lane highway, at least in 2013, was $240,000 a mile. We can pave 8,000 miles of highway a year, or 16,000 miles of highway in Arkansas. We can pave every highway in Arkansas every 2 years with that same amount of money. When you look at what's $27,000 in county per year, in county turnback, etc., staggering amount of money. We've been called obstructionists, but we're the only ones who have offered any compromise. We have offered a plan which would allow every qualified individual on the private option to stay on the private option, a plan in which no one would lose their insurance. We have put forth other ideas that would have bridged us through 2017 and got us to a point where we could be negotiating with an administration other than President Barack Obama. We have offered to compromise over and over without any consideration from the other side. Now we stand here again with another offer to work through the impasse and hope that this offer is not flippantly discarded as other offers have been. We've been abundantly clear that Medicaid expansion is the wrong thing to do. But as much as we oppose the $1.8 billion in additional annual spending, we will ask our constituents to allow us to compromise if the proponents of this spending would also be willing to give just a little. And this is to the point, this is where we get to the point of hell freezing over. Because that's what I said on the floor the other day, when hell freezes over. And I think I'm safe. Not because we don't want to compromise, but because the other side is going to be unyielding. And instead of coming back and looking at some very reasonable proposals that the people of Arkansas would be very happy, they're not going to be happy with it because they don't want the $1.8 million of spending. But they would be happy that we at least accomplished this. You can have my vote on the DHS appropriation and others and have the additional federal spending if you agree to the following. No abortion funding. The fund should not fund any abortion services or the abortifacient prescriptions, commonly known as RU 486, Plan B, or the morning after pill, etc. This was supposed to be about cancer, lung disease, heart disease, diabetes. If this is a sticking point for either administration, they need to remember that our candidates have steadfastly said we do not want to pay for abortion. If the ACLU wants to set up a fund, and Planned Parenthood wants to set up a fund for those who wish to have these drugs, they may. But the people of Arkansas do not want to pay for them, and that is a major sticking point. Number two, where we will find our other major sticking point. Because is this about the poor? Is this about rural hospitals? Or is this about big business? Is this about money and special interest? No big business favoritism. We should proceed without purchasing insurance for the expansion beneficiaries. Why? A, able-bodied adults should not receive preferential treatment over that of the blind, the disabled, and the elderly. As private option patients fill up the waiting rooms of doctors' offices, that's exactly what happens. We already have, in Malvern, before we started the private option, we didn't have one doctor taking a new Medicaid patient. That means if you're blind, disabled, elderly, that means if you're actually on Medicaid, you can't get in to see a doctor, while we're trumpeting that people that are able-bodied can go if they have the sniffles. And of course, you're very welcome and likely to go when you have absolutely no deductible.